Okay. Hello. Good morning. Should work now, hopefully. Sorry about that. Good morning. How are you guys doing? Everything all right? All working now? Perfect. Yeah, early morning stream. Like not that early morning, but morning stream for once. I mean, second time in a row, but nothing I can do about it. It's just how life goes sometimes. Doug, please tell us we're so back. We are so back in the range. So back in the range. Love the daytime streams. Yeah, I mean, for some it's easier, for others it's harder. The Americans can listen less, the Europeans more, I guess. On my holidays in Qatar from Bitcoin profits, happy to hear that, man. Always good to take some profit and invest it in life experiences. Listening to you in the US as I'm driving to work, Doug, well, I mean, actually fair enough. That works quite well. You Americans, you like, it's crazy, like having YouTube open on your way to work. I don't know any Europeans that do that. It is like past midday in Germany. Yeah, but I had to take my wife to a doctor appointment to check if everything's all right with the baby, which it is. But yeah, before we start, big shout out to Woo for sponsoring the show. Their support is appreciated. Links to them is in the description. The link is a decentralized exchange link now. They've asked us to kind of like put some spotlight on the fact that they have a really cool decentralized exchange. So here we are. If you want to check that out, links are in the description. I do it in the UK, but just for the audio, fair enough. I mean, if you just have the audio running, it's not like you need the charts for something like this anyway. Don, how do you combat baldness at 25? Dude, I was losing my hair in my 20s. It's just how it is. You don't combat it, you come to terms with it. It's just how it is. Too much testosterone, my friend. Just take the positive, I guess. Duck and Cred, renowned on-chain traders. Yeah, we are professionals at that. I mean, I have used chains that you would not even dream of, but for most of them, it's been a while, and for others, I mean, yeah. Don farming us for hair transplant money. Yeah, click on the links in the description so I can afford to go to Turkey to have my hair replaced. Nah, I give way too little shits about this. Side note, problem is not too much testosterone, instead testosterone intolerance. Dude, don't take it from us. We don't have much left as bald people. We don't have much left. Don't take the last positive. Is Eve dead? Not that I know of. I mean, I haven't looked at the chart in a little bit, but I mean, it's up more than Bitcoin today. So, but yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about Bitcoin. We'll talk about Eve. I'll keep it short. I'll try. But we'll talk maybe about some altcoins. Not that many too interesting, but yeah. Let's start with Bitcoin on the monthly. It's fine. Like, you could argue this is support. And we've had these kind of patterns before where it's basically like it's... Oh, I'm doing this. It does something like this. Like a shitty breakout and then retests it and then goes. Possible. Generally, I wouldn't necessarily count this too much as support. I just drew it in because might as well now that we've had a close above it. But yeah, the monthly still looks good, right? Like if you look at the high time frames, I mean, went from 16K to 70K, put in a range, and went from 70k to 100k, and now putting in a range. That's not too bad. It starts being worse if we, like on the monthly, like the problem is that, I mean, it's always going to be good until it's going to be really bad, because basically it's going to be good until we lose 60k, right? Like, so it comes back, that's technically a retest, still good. It comes back and loses 60k, then all of a sudden, like, we lost the old range, and then it's like, oh shit, we're all fucked. But that's not really useful, because at that point you've already lost half your money. Might as well lose the rest of it, right? So it's the problem with the monthly time frame, but overall still bullish. The weekly time frame, let me take this off. This does not need to be here. The weekly time frame is kind of struggling with this resistance here that we've had for a while, but it's also not really breaking down. And if you look at it, like, it's kind of rounding out here, which is nice. Kind of holding like the area of 95k as support. There were plenty of reasons to go down. There were plenty of crypto happenings that could have taken this down. They didn't, that's a good sign. Bad sign, obviously there was plenty of good news too, and we didn't go up. Kind of range things really. But yeah, we're battling resistance here at 97, 98, and yeah, if we break through it, I think it's gonna be quite quick. It's kind of like the moment we break through it, I think we're kind of in here, and then we would start kind of moving back up again. But as long as we haven't, it's technically resistance, and I mean, in this range, the bears are currently running the show, but that can change quickly. So, am I dreaming, or is this real Don streaming at this time? Yeah, I didn't have time yesterday night, so I'm doing it today. So, but yeah, that's the range. The fact that we're trading below the midpoint opens up the range low, right? So that's always a possibility. But yeah, I'm not holding my breath for 90k. I think it should go higher. But yeah, we'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic, and I will be less cautiously but more optimistic when we're trading above 98k. Like, that'd be a good weekly close. On the daily time frame, we have bounced yet again from support. It's the millionth time now. Like, we've kind of like bounced from support infinitely. We've been rejected by resistance a bunch, and now we're kind of stuck in this tiny range in the middle of the range. And I think if the market kind of shows a little bit of strength and comes back above 100k again, it's gonna start running. But technically speaking, on the daily time frame, same story as on the weekly time frame. This range low has been tested a shitload of times. This resistance less so. And if this starts rolling over again, I think it's going to be quite quick towards like 89, 90k. So this is either, I think like that was it, like the low 2 days ago. This kind of downwards wick, that has to be it. Otherwise, I think we're going to go towards 90. And if it is it, and we run into 99k again and break it, I'll be aggressively, like even more aggressively bullish. I might even add some leverage to my trading. Not really sure yet. Not feeling too aggressive right now, but maybe like, because it's gonna start looking really good above 100, and I might just add a little bit of risk at that point to the risk that I already have. Do you think we will ever see a drop of Bitcoin to like 60, 70k? I think once the cycle's over, maybe, yeah. I have a leverage long on Sol from 165. I put a stop loss at entry, but the position is bigger than I'm comfortable with. Should I take a little profit, or would you just leave it? I mean, if you're uncomfortable with it, you should probably take some off. Just generally, like if I'm uncomfortable with a position, I mean, like it's a little bit silly to put on a position that you're uncomfortable with in the first place. You got lucky and you're in profit. You might be in more profit, but just generally, like I would never want to hold a position that I'm uncomfortable with. I would take off until you're comfortable with it. Yes. But that depends on you. Like if this is just like if you every time you take a position or like a trade you feel uncomfortable, then you sometimes have to deal with just being uncomfortable. Like I mean, trading is not necessarily always comfortable, but just generally like that seems like ill-advised. Just having a position because the moment it moves against you, you're probably gonna bottom sell without reason. You can bottom sell with reason, but you shouldn't do it without. Can FTX refunds take us lower? I mean, FTX is repaid in dollars, so it would not make sense to take us lower. The only reason why that could, like the whole narrative could take us lower is because people might speculate that it's going to take us higher and then put on leverage and put on positions, and then it doesn't and they unwind. But it's not like the people are getting their Bitcoin back. So no, I don't think the FTX refunds generally could take us lower. It's in USD. So if anything, they could be buying their crypto back. So, but yeah, Bitcoin's pretty straightforward. Like I said, above 100K, all gas, no brakes. Below there, it's kind of like rangy, shitty, hard to judge. So that's Bitcoin. ETH, been actually like performing decently well in the last couple of days, which means that it didn't go down. It's actually put in a little bit of like higher lows, nothing too aggressive, but you have a little bit of a higher low thing going here, which would be nice if it just kind of accelerated to the upside. Would be a first in a while that has happened. Generally, because a lot of people asked for ETH, we had this monthly support here that got broken. We ran towards the next one pretty much immediately. It's what we talked about, like when we were at that monthly support. I was like, if this breaks, you don't really have anything until here. That's kind of where we're bouncing from right now. I generally think the ETH BTC chart looks horrendous. The only way to turn this around, right? Like if you're a really cautious ETH bull, I think on the ETH BTC front is if you get above this green box. Like let's say this V reverses out here. I think at this point you'd be stupid not having ETH exposure. Down here it's kind of like a bet on this just stopping, which is a hard bet to make because it can just do this, right? Like anything in crypto can just do that. So like if you want to play the momentum to the upside, that's kind of like a way to do it. On the ETH USD front, you have like the diagonal support still. It's kind of working for now. The bounce is much weaker than I would like to see. Like generally, I would have loved to see kind of like we had that like wipeout and then to go. That said, we had wipeouts before and it usually takes a little bit, right? So here, for example, at the bottom, we had that kind of wipeout, big candle to the downside. You get a green candle and then we retested a little bit of that wick. People freaked the fuck out and then it actually went. So, and the same story here, right? Where you have the wipeout, you get a bounce, you retest the wick and then you go. So it could take a while, could retest some of the wick. That would break the diagonal, so that wouldn't be so great. But just generally, like historically speaking, it doesn't always do this, where it just wipes out and then just walks up. Sometimes it wipes out and has a little bit of a pause. Like even here, it had a nice bounce and retested. Here too. Right, so if you think, oh, this has to go, doesn't really. I would like to see it go though. I would like to see the diagonal hold. But yeah, ETH's not the best chart right now. There's much better looking ones. One of the ones is XRP. This is the weekly chart. We had a range that we kind of like, I mean, it kind of looks like this, right? So we had that range. that we broke out of, and then we broke back into, which is obviously not the best. But that was with the market, with the entire market shitting the bed, and now we're kind of like back above the range, which is quite nice. Like, this is quite the sign of strength, strong looking chart. Everything in the range has been bought up so far. So like, that's a pretty good looking chart in comparison to, for example, what you just saw on ETH, right? Like, this is just very strong. It would start looking worse if it came back into the range. So a close below 250-ish would be not so nice on the weekly time frame. And on the lower time frames, it's kind of like we have that like lower range here, upper range here, and we're currently, like, we retested the low of that range, like the old range, bounced to the high, got rejected there. That's what we talked about last time I streamed, where I was like, yeah, it is at resistance. Got rejected at that resistance, but immediately retested it again. And now we're getting kind of rejected again. The more often we retest that resistance, the more confident I become that the weekly signal, which is already broken out, is more accurate, and that this is actually going to go on the daily too. If it does, and it comes back into this range, in the upper range, I think that's just hilariously bullish, right? So that might be like a momentum trigger, whatever, depending on how you trade. That would be confirmation. Me, I'm just chilling, right? But I like the chart, even though it's at resistance. Same as XRP BTC. I got rejected by resistance that we talked about, and retested it immediately. And the moment we break it, I think, especially on XRP BTC, it's even clearer, right? Because basically this range sits exactly like the top of the range. It's exactly on the old range. So we're basically all the way back. You can even do something like this. And it's kind of like it had a false breakout. It's now retesting that area, which is obviously where you want to be a little bit cautious. But if that false breakout gets invalidated, we talked about this millions of times on the show, range that breaks out and comes back, this is technically bearish, but if it does come and crawls back out, it's probably going to have like a big move to the upside. So higher chance Bitcoin goes up from here or retest 90K. So TA wise on Bitcoin, I think the higher chance is that it breaks and goes to 90K, just because the weekly is at resistance. The daily is kind of like struggling, but I think, like, for me personally, it's actually more likely to go up. So depending on how you want to look at it, TA wise, more likely to go down short term, but according to me, discretion wise, I think it's more likely to go up. So it's not really a good answer. You just need to make your own decisions, basically. I think it's more likely to go up, but my TA says it's more likely to go down. Don, why did XRP wake up from the dead? I mean, the reason why XRP rallied is because basically they got sued out of existence, and then they started winning cases even before Trump became president. And I mean, they have won. The XRP team has a lot of money because they dumped a shitload of XRP on people in 2017-18, made a shitload of money. And to generally, as crypto becomes more and more mainstream, people are going to look for serious businesses in crypto, right? And XRP at least looks like the most serious altcoin that we have. Like, it's a banking coin, like everyone kind of associates with the banks. And I think that's like a very easy mode for the boomers to get into. So a lot of the older generation, the ones that have a lot of money, are interested in it. And that's why. And the fact that they don't have a problem with cozying up to Trump and getting into, not only with Trump, but also with the European Union, with all the institutions at the top. XRP is kind of in bed with all of them, which I don't like, but price-wise, obviously a good thing. That's the reason why XRP kind of activated again. They won the lawsuit, set an entire bull market out, and now it was mispriced. It repriced. I think now it's more fairly priced. I mean, to me, everything should be at zero that's even remotely close to an altcoin. But I think compared to the other altcoins, it was mispriced. Now I think it's fairly priced. And if it pushes higher, like if it does another XRP move like it did before, right? Like what we had here, if it does another one of these, I think it's going to be mispriced to the upside. And I think that's kind of what I'm hoping for, that we misprice it to the upside. So I can sell it and rotate it into something that is mispriced again. For example, ETH right now, in my opinion, is mispriced to the downside in comparison to other coins. I think it's like it's the same that I thought with XRP when it was trading at 0.6. I was like, this is mispriced. It's garbage to me, but it's mispriced in comparison to everything else. I think ETH's in a very similar spot where I think it's mispriced. So if I get like an XRP rally where it kind of like goes crazy, I'm going to think that that's mispriced and rotate more into ETH. A lot of people want Sui. We'll talk about it. Yeah, sure. But yeah, there you go. That's XRP. Generally looks very strong, but it is at resistance again. Same as we talked about last time. You want to see this break resistance. The reason why it's struggling today is because it closed at resistance yesterday. Any XRP targets in mind? I mean, so this is what I thought. Like we talked about this on stream. Like if you look back like 3 months in the videos, I was like, this is at XRP BTC support. This is great support. It kind of reminds me. We talked about this. I was like, this reminds me of Doge, which basically just did this for years and years. Same story here. One of the few coins that has been holding up against Bitcoin over the course of its existence, right? And it's in a range. So bottom of the range down here, top of the range up here. There's still a ×3 to go against Bitcoin to the top of the range. I think that's at that point, it's mispriced to the upside. It can go higher. It's done it before. Like here, it went like, it went another 200% higher than the range. But I'm gonna start looking to scale out at that resistance. And it might never hit. It might never hit, but that's kind of what I'm looking at on the XRP BTC side, and on the XRP USD side. There's also something we talked about before the rally happened. Beautiful. I was like, there's a couple resistances on the way, and we broke all of them, retested like the resistance, like got rejected by the resistance up here, which is 3.4, and I think the next one is like 6.9-ish. But on the USD front, I don't really care too much. I'm more interested in the Bitcoin pair. So if Bitcoin goes up and XRP goes up relatively to Bitcoin, I think that's kind of like where I see trouble come in. So yeah. Solana has been struggling, just generally narrative wise. I think that will not stop. There's going to be a lot of bad news coming out for Solana. There's also unlocks. I think generally like it's gonna have a lot of headwinds. Even if it does well, I think there's gonna be a lot of outperformers. It's betting on, like, basically it's shackled for a little bit. It's shackled down to what happened, like all the scams happened on Solana in the last couple of months. I think that narrative is only heating up. It hasn't really been in the media, but yeah, all the big scams have happened on Solana. I think that's kind of holding it down, and that's probably going to continue being the case. That said, it has a little bounce now. Reason being, just completely shit the bed, right? Like whenever something like Solana, like a decent coin, completely shits the bed and goes completely crazy to the downside, you're gonna have some mean reversions. But overall, I'm personally not that interested in it. I wouldn't want to trade it. If I was bearish on the market as a whole, I think I would express it via Solana, but I'm not bearish on the market, so I'm just not touching it at all. But yeah, Sol BTC, we had this diagonal horizontal combo on the chart for the longest time. And that's played out quite nicely, where there was the last test here, and that broke down. On the USD pair front, there's 3 days left to kind of rescue this. It did close at the lower boundary of support last week. And if you get a little bit of a bounce going into the weekend, maybe because Bitcoin starts breaking out, that'd be nice. That would kind of rescue this. I would generally hope that Solana USD doesn't go down too much. I think the only way it does is if the market is weak. But if the market is weak, I'm expecting Solana to be one of the worst coins to hold. If the market turns out strong, I could see Solana even like be decent still, but it is facing headwinds. And I think other layer ones that are not Solana are gonna take, they're just gonna be better basically. Like there's a bunch of layer ones like Barachain, for example, and there's something that you can see that's been outperforming massively versus Solana. This is Barachain versus Solana. I don't really know anything about it. I just know it's a new layer one that people were laughing about because it was doing really poorly on launch. I think stuff like this is gonna take the lunch from Solana for a while. So if the market is bullish, I think Barachain, a lot of other coins are gonna be outperforming Solana. Like coins that are like Solana but are not Solana are gonna outperform it. And on the downside, I think Solana is gonna take it harder than anything else. Or at least the same amount, but as you can see, like this coin is up like 100% against Solana, and I think that's not gonna stop to the upside. And then when everything goes down, I think they're gonna be down similar percentages. And I think that's gonna be the case with a lot of new layer ones. Like I think Monad is coming out soon. I have like an angel investment in that. I think that's probably gonna outperform Solana. Not because I have an angel investment in it, but because same kind of story. It doesn't have the baggage. And then there's other ones. Barachain, I don't have any, like I don't have a position. I don't have a, I don't generally angel invest in anything. Monad is the only one. But yeah, I think just anything like this, and there's gonna be a lot of them. Like just there's a lot of layer ones that are coming out that are out already. Like Sui, yeah, like Sui. A lot of people asked about Sui. This is where I was going. Sui, same story. I think that's gonna outperform Solana. Doesn't really even matter how the chart looks, even though the chart looks awful for Sui to me. But I think that's also gonna just be better bet. Let me see if I can find a better one. But yeah, that's an awful chart. If you zoom out this far, it's kind of okay. On the weekly time frame, it's not that great. But yeah, this is your Sui chart. I think you can argue that the momentum is back the moment it kind of makes it through this resistance cluster. Otherwise, it's just a bearish retest. And there's a lot of room to go. That said, like it did retest support with the leverage wipeout. So yeah, I mean, it's not that bad. But it's not that great. There's other ones like, what was it? S, I think, ticker S that I saw. Yeah, like new stuff has been, I don't even know what the fuck this is. So don't ask me, but new stuff is basically, I think the reason why these are going so well, Barachain, this, like a lot of other ones, is because of just the glaring obvious weakness of Solana. So people are kind of like looking for the new Solana trade. Maybe the new Solana trade is still Solana, right? I don't want to like count that out. But for the short term, I think a lot of people are going to look for the new Solana trade. What makes Sui an awful chart for you? I mean, just look at it. Like, how is that not an awful chart? Basically, you had an infinite uptrend here, and then you broke the uptrend to the downside, started like a bearish trend, if anything, and then if you zoom out a little bit, it's retesting prior, like this was support here and turned into resistance. Like, that's, if you would pick a place to be bearish, any chart, this would be the place to be bearish. I wouldn't want to be bearish, but I mean, I'm not gonna say the chart looks nice, because it clearly doesn't. And I think just generally, like, the narrative is good for coins like this. Like I said, because Solana was the king in town, and it's showing weakness. So if you do something like this, I mean, sure, go ahead. It starts looking really good, really fast again. But right now, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of that chart. Yeah, Solana's been underperforming massively, and Sui's barely outperformed. It's not bad. It's just not great. Yeah, someone said put the Litecoin chart next to it to show why Sui is a bad chart. Yeah, I mean, you can actually do that. So that's that, and then put the Litecoin chart next to it. Weekly. Yeah, so both weekly charts, both in an uptrend for a little bit, right? Basically the same kind of uptrend. Obviously, Sui has been outperforming Litecoin quite a bit. So like, it went up like 700%. Litecoin went up like 150, whatever. But you can see like the relative weakness in comparison to Litecoin. Litecoin's been holding the consolidation. This has been breaking it. But I don't think it's necessarily too bad, given the trend has been really strong. I just want to see it basically go back above here. And yeah, Litecoin kind of looks good. Litecoin looks quite good. Is this a monthly level? Yeah, it is. Look at that. Beautiful. Like, that's a good chart. I actually liked it. I didn't even have that on my current chart, but I like it. I'll take that. So basically, broke out of the ascending triangle in an ascending triangle, and it broke out of it last month, had a deep retest, and yeah, I mean, Litecoin just looks good to me. Useless boomer coins, yeah, but I mean, the non-useless boomer coins keep scamming everyone, so maybe the boomer coins are the way to go. I think that's what a lot of people, they're kind of like sick and tired of all the scamming, and they just rotate back into trusty old garbage. Saying Litecoin is holding up after Sui massively outperformed is laughable. I mean, I'm talking about recently. Obviously, I mean, I even said that Sui outperformed it. But this is a chart that looks really good on the monthly and on the weekly time frame. And the Sui chart just needs a little bit of work. I don't know why you guys are so upset just because I don't like the chart. Like, why are you so upset? I don't get it. It's just a chart, dude. If you like the coin, buy it. Like, just generally, like, what people don't realize is, like, if you like a coin and you think it needs to go up because it's mispriced, just fucking buy the coin. Like, who the fuck cares about how the chart looks? Like, I don't even like XRP, and I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of the chart. I was just like, this mispriced. And then I bought it, and then it went immediately up like 5x. So if you like Sui and you think it's mispriced, I mean, just fucking buy it. Don't be a loser. But then also don't be fucking upset if I say the chart doesn't look good. Just because I think it doesn't look good. And I mean, I'm holding ETH. And I'm saying this chart looks shit. So Don't be so upset. That's all I'm saying. Do you still think Trump can put in a 40-50 bounce still, or did Sol kill that? I think Trump would have done that. This was kind of like the leading up to it. I think that could have easily gone higher. The reason why it didn't is because of the Argentina coin. And now it's harder to say. I mean, this is still, as much as I hate to say it, I fucking hate this coin. I think like it needs to be at 0 immediately. But that's not a bad looking chart. I actually, like these kind of setups I usually would buy. Like you have the sign of strength and then you bleed out again, but start rounding out. You can see how the candles get smaller and smaller, right? The sell pressure gets less and less. And those usually tend to have like a nice secondary move. I'm not going to touch it, and I will not take any blame if this just goes to 0, because I think eventually, even if this has a good move, even if this goes all the way up back here, it's going to do something like this. The moment Trump can sell a bunch of this, he will. Not necessarily at the start immediately, but this shit is getting dumped. But yeah, I think if the Argentina coin didn't launch, you wouldn't have gotten this pullback. You would have gotten maybe this week because everything else was weak, and then you would have seen quite a strong move to the upside. But obviously, like another president launching another coin, people would kind of like rotate into the one that's early. So yeah. Don, you mentioned adding leverage. If we see a solid break of 100K, how do you think leverage will affect you mentally? It doesn't really. I've been in this long enough that it doesn't really make much of a difference. It's not like I'm putting my life savings on the line. I have pulled out more than I need. My crypto portfolio percentage-wise from my wealth every single year decreases. I use crypto as a piggy bank of sorts. Like I have a bunch of money in it, and like actually not like a piggy bank, the opposite of a piggy bank, basically. I only ever take out of this thing. I never put any in the piglet. It just happens to be like I put a little bit of money in crypto, and then it's like this, and then I pull a bunch out, and then it's this size, and then suddenly that size goes back to this, and then I pull even more out, and I'm back to this. And then, you know, like that's been the crypto story. And then it goes to this, and then I pull more out, and it goes, you know, like that's been my crypto story. This is how I do it. But generally speaking, that like the percentage of what I have outside of crypto grows much more than what I have in crypto now. Don is rugging us. I mean, if that's how you look at it, I mean, I'm extracting from the ecosystem, yes. I mean, by trading it, not by rugging or by making coins, but yeah, I'm trading it. Do you have any other streams of income? I mean, I make a little bit of money from this show. It's not really that much, but it's nice. It covers more than my living expenses. So I don't have to use any crypto money for that. Not that I would need to, but that's kind of nice. But that's it. I just trade. And then sometimes, some years I make very little because the market is shit. And then other years I make a lot because the market is good. But yeah, that's that. Yeah, now all the people asking for Sui are hating me deep down. They're like, fuck this duck. Sui's gonna show him. And in my, I like the narrative for coins like Sui. I like the narrative for coins like Barachain. I like the setup for anything launching right now that is close to what Solana is, because Solana has a bad rep now. And if there was ever a time to take the kind of like king of chains away from Solana, I think it's now. That's why I like that narrative. That's why I think like even if the chart looks shit on Sui, you should probably still look at it if you like it. Don, what do you think will happen with Sol when Bitcoin will be on heights? I have no idea. I mean, I think if Bitcoin goes up, Solana probably goes up too. I think it like that's the thing, right? And people, the Solana holders are gonna clown on everyone because they're gonna be like, haha, look at us. Like Solana might even outperform Bitcoin for a little bit, and they're gonna be like, haha, look at you, you fucking idiots. But they will ignore that like Solana lookalikes are massively outperforming Solana. That's kind of what I think will happen. Bitcoin goes up, you're gonna see Barachain and like I said, all of those coins outperforming Solana massively. Bitcoin goes down, I think they're gonna go down as much as Solana is, and I think that's kind of where we are now. BNB, yeah, BNB is quite good chart wise. Do I have it somewhere? Yeah, like that's a decent chart, high time frame, but that might take a little bit to play out. And what I must say, right, like I don't have a position in BNB. I was considering it because I like the high time frame chart, and then CC came out and just scammed like not really scammed, but to me, like that's shady behavior at best. The whole broccoli thing, like with his dog, which makes me actually just less interested in it. I like the chart, but the way they act right now is just atrocious, and I think it's the worst timing possible. When everyone is kind of shining a spotlight on the extractive games, so like CZ just starts the same fucking thing, very publicly, just very fucking stupid. So not the biggest fan of that personally. And I know he's trying to, basically to me, what it looks like is he's trying to get activity back on BNB. They had like the BNB season in 2021. He wants it back. But it was just a bad way to do it. Don, do you agree that CZ is just as bad as Portnoy and Ansem? To me, he is, yeah. I think he is not clean at all from my moral standards. But none of those people, besides CZ, have been in jail, right? Donald the bear shitter at it again. How am I bear shitting? Dude, I've been bull posting. Like I've been bull posting the entire fucking stream. It's gone on for 40 minutes. I've been saying like I think Bitcoin's going up. I think XRP's going up. I think fucking Sui is probably gonna go up. Barachain's gonna I've not talked about anything bearish besides Solana. But I'm not even bearish on Solana USD. I'm just think it's gonna underperform other things. Sometimes I'm like, are people actually even listening to what I'm saying, or like, where is this coming from? What are your thoughts on AVAX? I mean, dude, why is everyone asking me to shit on their bags? I'm not a big fan. But then again, I own XRP, so it doesn't really I don't like anyone involved in AVAX. Let's put it that way. I don't really like anyone involved in XRP either, but I see the trade much more clearer on XRP than I see it on AVAX. AVAX is also a competitor to Solana, so maybe it does well too, but I couldn't care less. That would be one. Other ones I could get excited about, that one, nah. I know you don't like these coins, but I thought things like fat coins would get a big complacency bounce, but now Argentina changed my mind. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how that's going to play out. I think just generally they're probably the whole meme coin sector is going to... And this is something that I said months and months ago, where I was like, why would you hold something like WIF or what else, Popcat or whatever, if you know that if the meme coin season comes back, it's gonna have new contenders, right? You had there was Bonk already, right? You had Bonk, that's an older memes from 2023, whatever. Then you had, even older than that, you had Sheep, right? And this is what old memes do, right? Yeah, they have a little bit of a pump, but in comparison to what Popcat had or what Whiff had, this is nothing, right? And the big outperformers on these meme coins are not gonna be the meme coins that are around right now. So like that's why I've been like, dude, like, why are you holding this if you can just wait for conditions to turn better and then buy the new meme coins that are like starting to emerge? And I think that's much better. Now, one thing that I will say is that Fartcoin is objectively much more funny than the other meme coins. Like I find that quite, like it's actually quite humorous, I think. So maybe like that has something to it just because it's funny in comparison, like with like what the fuck is funny about I don't understand. Like it's not even a good meme. It's not even a meme. It's nothing, right? Same with Popcat. Like that's not funny. That's nothing. And that doesn't mean they cannot go up, but I mean, if you're talking about a meme, it's supposed to be like something that's actually funny. I think Fartcoin could go viral. I don't really see how like Popcat or Whiff are really that funny to capture like a large percentage of mindshare. Fartcoin, I could see it just because it's so stupid that I could actually see it. But I'm not in that game. Don't care really too much. What do you think about Yaps? Is it going to be garbage like Friendtech? I have no idea. The only reason why I signed up to it is because I didn't have to shill it for 1 second and because I got harassed by people every single day to make an account. And they asked, like everyone asked me to use their ref link and it started getting really fucking annoying. And then I just was like, okay, whatever. I don't have to shill it. I'm going to sign up to it. I'm never going to shill it. It's not really like what you need to do anyway. It's probably going to be going to near zero. I think all of these kind of will. I don't really care about this kind of stuff too much. Don, serious question. Do you own any pets, dogs, cats? I used to have dogs all my life, but I don't have one right now, and I will not in the near future. But maybe in like 5 years or something, I would like to have a dog again. What do you think about Hyperliquid? They just launched L1 and could also be competitor to Sol. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the ones that I don't hate. Like, you asked me about AVAX, I'm like, whatever. You ask me about Hyperliquid, I'm like, this is a lot better. Now, I'm personally not involved, not gonna get a position, all that kind of stuff. Not excited enough for that, but I see the point. I see why people like it, and I get it. Don wants to buy Sol cheaper. No, I actually don't. Like, I don't want to own Sol. I think the culture on Sol is so rotten. And I mean, that's not bearish per se for Solana, but I think the culture on Sol is so rotten that I think it's just a net negative for crypto. I think Solana culture is what makes crypto shit. This cycle is shit because of the Solana culture. Yeah, I don't want to have anything to do with it. I mean, I get that. I mean, you can make an argument, for example, that Solana is a much better coin than XRP. And face value, yeah, I agree. And it stands for, like, Solana is much more aligned with crypto values as XRP is. But at least the XRP dudes are just chilling and not scamming every single person on the planet. While the Solana people are just looking to max extracts. That's the culture on Solana. I don't like it. I will not be. I was giving praise to Solana when it was trading at $20, saying it's the only altcoin that I would want to own other than Bitcoin, and it went up. And ever since it went up, and basically all these, like, the scammers got glorified on Solana, the culture has become inexcusable, I think. It's never been, like, there's never been a coin where the culture of the coin has been this bad. I just really, really dislike it. But that doesn't have to mean that Solana has to go down. And Solana is objectively right now the best functioning ETH competitor, if not, like, if anything, like, it's functioning better than ETH, right? Right now anyway. But I just, For something, for a space that is so community based like crypto, the Solana community disgusts me. Do you still have faith in crime season, Don? Yeah, I do. I think with Argentina, right? I think the obvious kind of like really dumb, high profile crime where it's obvious that it's crime, I think that's kind of like, that's gonna slow down. But the kind of like the gray area shit, and for example, XRP is for me one of those where I'm like, what they're doing should be illegal, but it's not. Like that stuff, right? Where it's clearly it should be illegal, but it's not. So they're kind of acting in according to the law. That kind of stuff is gonna do numbers. I think that's the crime season that we're gonna get now. Sophisticated crime season. We had crime season. I think now it's gonna be more sophisticated crime season. So, seen any early Ponzi's yet, Don? I think the Ponzi thing was basically like Trump coin, Melania coin, and Argentina. Those are the Ponzi's of this cycle. I think that's it. They speedrun the Ponzi's of this cycle, which is quite nice. I think the Ponzi's are like the obvious Ponzi's are over and done with. I wouldn't necessarily look for Ponzi's now to trade. I think there's, and you can argue everything in crypto is a Ponzi, but the obvious like hex style thing, I think you're not going to get that necessarily again. So that's that. I think that's enough for today. Thanks for the lively chat. It's always good. I mean, I don't know how I would talk with myself for 50 minutes without the chat. So appreciate you guys. Also appreciate the sponsor of the show, which is Woo. Like I said, they have a decentralized exchange. If you're interested in that, go check the link in the description. If not, also totally fine. And yeah, thanks for coming by. Much love. Have a nice rest of your day. And we'll talk soon. Bye bye.